as resource. Learning about people as resource. It is an effort to explain quality of population, education, health, and unemployment. Quality of population. The quality of population depends upon the literacy rate, health of person indicated by life expectancy, and skill formation acquired by the people of the country. The quality of the population ultimately decides the growth rate of the country. Illiterate and unhealthy population are a liability for the economy. Literate and healthy population are an asset. Education. Sakal's education in the initial years of his life bore him the fruits in the latter years in terms of a good job and salary. We saw education was an important input for the growth of Sakal. It opened new horizon for him, provided new aspiration and developed values of life. Not only for Sakal, education contributes towards the growth of society also. It enhances the national income, cultural richness, and increases the efficiency of governance. There is a provision made for providing universal access, retention, and quality in elementary education with a special emphasis on girls. There is also an establishment of pace setting of schools like Navodaya Vidyalaya in each district. Vocational streams have been developed to equip large number of high school students with occupations related to knowledge and skills. The plan outlay on education has increased from rupees 151 crore in the first plan to rupees 43,825 crore in the 10th plan. The expenditure on education as a percentage of GDP rose from 0.64% in the 1951 to 1952 to 3.98% in 2002 to 2003 budgetary estimate. The literacy rates have increased from 18% in 1951 to 65% in 2001. Literacy is not only a right, it is also needed if the citizens are to perform their duties and enjoy their right properly. However, a vast difference is noticed across different sections of population. Literacy among males is nearly 50% higher than females, and it is about 50% higher in urban areas as compared to the rural areas. Literacy rates vary from 96% in some districts of Kerala to a below 30% in some parts of Madhya Pradesh. The primary school system has expanded to over 5 lakh villages in India. Unfortunately, this huge expansion of schools has been diluted by the poor quality of schooling and high dropout rates. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan is a significant step towards providing elementary education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years by 2010. It is a time-bound initiative of central government in partnership with the states, the local government and the community for achieving the goal of universalization of elementary education. Along with it, bridge courses and back-to-school camps have been initiated to increase the enrollment in elementary education. Midday meal scheme has been implemented to encourage attendance and retention of children and improve their nutritional status. These policies could add to the literate population of India. The plan also focuses on distant education, convergence of formal, non-formal, distant and IT education institutions. Over the past 50 years, there has been a significant growth in the number of university and institutions of higher learning in specialized areas. Human being is a positive asset and a precious national resource which needs to be cherished, nurtured, and developed with tenderness and care, coupled with dynamism. Firm maximize profit. The health of a person helps him to realize his potential and the ability to fight illness. An unhealthy person becomes a liability for an organization indeed. Health is an indispensable basis for realizing one's well-being. Henceforth, improvement in the health status of the population has been the priority of the country. Our national policy too aimed at improving the accessibility of healthcare, family welfare and nutritional services with special focus on underprivileged segment of population. Over the last 5 decades, India has built up a vast health infrastructure and manpower required at primary, secondary and tertiary care in government as well as in the private sector. These measures adopted have increased the life expectancy to over 64 years in 2000. Infant mortality rate (IMR) has come down from 147 in 1951 to 75 in 2000. Crude birth rates have dropped to 26.1 and death rates to 8.7 within the same duration of time. Increase in life expectancy and improvement in child care are useful in assessing the future progress of the country. Increase in longevity of life is an indicator of good quality of life marked by self-confidence. Reduction in infant mortality involves the protection of children from infection, ensuring nutrition along with mother and child care. Infant mortality rate is the death of a child under 1 year of age. Birth rates is the number of babies born there for every 1,000 people during a particular period of time. Death rate is the number of people per 1,000 who die during a particular period of time. Unemployment. Sakal's mother Sheila looked after the domestic chores, children and helped her husband Bhuta in the field. Sakal's brother Jitu and sister Situ spent their time playing and roaming. Can you call Sheila or Jitu or Situ unemployed? If not, why? Unemployment is said to exist when people who are willing to work at the going wages cannot find jobs. Sheila is not interested in working outside her domestic domain. Jitu and Situ are too small to be counted in the workforce population. Neither Jitu, Situ or Sheila can be counted as unemployed. The workforce population includes people from 15 years to 59 years. In case of India, we have unemployment in rural and urban areas. However, the nature of the unemployed differs in rural and urban areas. In case of rural areas, there is seasonal and disguised unemployment. Urban areas have mostly educated unemployment. Seasonal unemployment happens when people are not able to find jobs during some months of the year. People dependent upon agriculture usually face such kind of problem. There are certain busy seasons when sowing, harvesting, weeding, threshing is done. Certain months do not provide much work to the people dependent on agriculture. In case of disguised employment, people appear to be employed. They have agriculture plot where they find work. This usually happens among family members engaged in agricultural activity. Work requires the service of 5 people but engages 8 people. 3 people are extra. These 3 people also work in the same plot as 5 people. The contribution made by the 3 extra people does not add to the contribution made by the 5 people. If 3 people are removed, the productivity of the field will not decline. The field requires the service of 5 people, and the 3 extra people are disguisedly employed. In case of urban areas, educated unemployment has become a common phenomenon. Many youth with matriculation, graduation, and post-graduation degrees are not able to find jobs. A study showed that unemployment of graduate and postgraduate has increased faster than among matriculates. A paradoxical manpower situation is witnessed as surplus of manpower in certain categories coexist with shortage of manpower in others. Unemployment leads to wastage of manpower resource. People who are an asset for the economy turn into a liability. There is a feeling of hopelessness and despair among the youth. Unemployment tends to increase economic overload. The dependence of the unemployed on the working population increases. The quality of life of an individual as well as of society is adversely affected. When a family has to live on a bare subsistence level, there is a general decline in its health status and rising withdrawal from the school system. Hence, unemployment has detrimental impact on the overall growth of an economy. Increase in unemployment is an indicator of a depressed economy. It also wastes the resource which could have been gainfully employed. If people cannot be used as a resource, they naturally appear as a liability to the income. In case of India, statistically, the unemployment rate is low. A large number of people represented with low income and productivity are counted as employed. They appear to work throughout the year, but in terms of their potential and income, it is not adequate for them. The work that they are pursuing seems forced upon them. They may therefore want other work of their choice. Poor people cannot afford to sit idle. They tend to engage in any activity irrespective of its earning potential. Their earning keeps them on a bare subsistence level. Moreover, the employment structure is characterized by self-employment in a primary sector. The whole family contributes in the field even though not everybody is really needed. So there is disguised unemployment in the agriculture sector. But all the family also have a share in what has been produced. This concept of sharing of work in the field and the produce raised reduces the hardship of unemployment in the rural sector. But this does not reduce the poverty of the family. Gradually, surplus labor from every household tends to migrate from the village in search of jobs. Let us discuss about the employment scenario in three sectors mentioned earlier. Agriculture is the most labor-absorbing sector of the economy. There has been a decline in the independence of the population on agricultural partly because of disguised unemployment discussed earlier. Some of the surplus labor in agriculture has moved to either the secondary or the tertiary sector. In the secondary sector, small-scale manufacturing is the most labor-absorbing. In case of tertiary sector, various new services are now appearing like biotechnology, information technology, and so on. Let us read a story to know how people could become an asset for the economy of a village. Story of a village. There was a village inhabited by several families. Each family produced enough to feed its members. Each family met its needs by the members making their own clothes and teaching their own children. One of the family decided to send one of its sons to an agriculture college. The boy got his admission in the nearby College of Agriculture. After some time, he became qualified in agro-engineering and came back to the village. He proved to be so creative that he could design an improved type of plug which increased the yield of wheat. Thus, a new job of agro-engineering was created and filled in the village. Family in the village sold the surplus in a nearby neighboring village. They earned good profit, which they shared among themselves. Inspired by this success, all the families after some time held a meeting in the village. They all wanted to have a better future for their children too. They requested the panchayat to open a school in the village. They assured the panchayat that they would all send their children to school. The panchayat, with the help of government, opened a school. A teacher was recruited from a nearby town. All the children of this village started going to school. After some time, one of the family gave training to his daughter in tailoring. She started stitching clothes for all the families of the village, for everyone now want to buy and wear well-tailored clothes. Thus another new job, that of a tailor, was created. This had another positive effect. The time of the farmers in going far for buying clothes was saved. As the farmers spent more time in the field, the yield of the farms went up. This was the beginning of prosperity. The farmers had more than they could consume. Now they could sell what they produced to others who came to their village markets. Over time, this village, which formerly had no job opportunities in the beginning, had many like teacher, tailor, agro-engineer, and many more. This was the story of a simple village where the rising level of human capital enabled it to evolve into a place rich with complex and modern economic activities. Summary. We also study about the problem associated with unemployment. Finally, the chapter ends with the story of a village which formerly had no job but later had plenty. That is all in this lesson. Good going!